In this episode, I want to talk real quick about how to set up what your table utilization might be, what clamps, what stops you might use. You'll notice I've even done some 3D printing in order to organize some extra tools at the very back, because that's just kind of a space that's not well utilized. So I will continue to have more holds for different blocks, different setups, and this would be a great challenge for students in terms of setting up what could be utilized more effectively in terms of space. But right now I want to talk about this space. You'll notice that I've already got a couple of stops put in here. These stops come with the kit and it looks something like this. I've also made some modifications on these. You'll notice that right here, I have actually cut down into that and I've actually cut in some grooves. I'll explain that a little bit later. But what I really wanted was I wanted to set up my fence, if you will, so that I can set in parts and components fairly quick and easy. And this is great for students in terms of being able to repeat things, or if they're using different materials. We'll come back to the vise. However, I'm going to put that off on the hold for right now. And let's talk a little bit about this setup in terms of the fence. Let's take a look at a couple of things here. I want to be able to slide things on and off, especially for the vise or whatever. Normally, I always have my fences off onto the left side and slide things in from the right, just being right-handed versus left-handed. However, with the tool rack here, that changes the dynamics. It changes, if you will, the procedure of setting up your table. So with the ETS, your electronic tool setter here, slightly off, and then here, the tool rack, I did go ahead and mark basically what is the total area that I'm able to work, my working envelope. However, because of my end mills and the edge of my frame and this, I want to make sure I am not running into anything. So one of the first pieces I did was I just kind of came down and did a quick little eyeball. If I'm moving this through and forward, I want to make sure that this frame, you'll see how it kind of tapers. I don't want to hit anything over here. Now, you may say, well, wait a second. You've got, 15, 20 mils over here off to the side? Yes. If I were to look at where my tip is in relation to this, correct. But sometimes students may not think, and they may be running an outside perimeter, and that's where sometimes these get nicked. Okay. I don't want to nick a lot of things in that path or process. So this will set me up for safety with the students so that I'm not running into either the tool rack or anything else that's going on. So I want to go ahead and get this squared up. So let me show you how I did that. So I have my probe in. I have tool 99 listed in my tool selection on my Path Pilot. And on my screen, I'm just going to work with a little zeroing out. So I'm just going to run this edge up to my stop. And the great thing is it'll automatically stop once it is triggered. You can see the little red light there. I'm going to come up to my digital readout. And from there on my X, I'm going to go ahead and zero this out because that's what I want to set. However, if my blue flashing reset button on the screen here is flashing, I need to reset it first and then come back and hit Z0, or pardon me, X0. Right now, I've got 0 set. I'm going to go ahead and back off on that. And that'll tell me that right here, I'm at 0. I'm going to go all the way to the other side. And now I'll run into the edge again, like I did on the other side. Go a little bit slow once I get close. And again, this will trip. And now I can go to my digital readout and look and see, am I tight? Am I not? Where am I in my squareness? So I will continue to set this, and I can loosen these. And then realize that as you tighten them, if you're against the edge, that may pull it 2 or 4, however that may go. If you get more into the center, it will have less of an impact on that, like this one here. So I'm going to work and take some time in order to square this up just to make sure that it is ready to go. All right, so where am I at? I am at a difference of 0.026 millimeters. So in terms of inches, I'm at, what, 1/1000? And that may or may not be good enough for your institution, your work environment. But I would say for middle school, for high school, that should be pretty decent in order to get things aligned so that students are now able to work. It did take a couple of minutes in order to do this. I would say for a student, this will take about 15 minutes once they're comfortable. However, the first time that they do this, you'll notice that I used my fingers and the butt end of my hammer, and that allows me to feel that movement. Otherwise, they could be here just tapping it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It'll be one of those things that once you set up your routines, students will then be able to follow that. I'll do the same thing for the back fence. I won't necessarily waste the time for you, but now I've got my stops set up for whatever work might be done so that if a student does need to come in, let's go ahead and move this off. Let's go G30. And we'll put it at the back out of our way. Let's go ahead and move it a little bit quicker. I am now able to set up my wood blocks for whatever the project might be. If I'm going to use aluminum blocks, plates, I can set that up as well. Now that leads us to the next part, which is using these low profiles. I'm going to go ahead and set that up so that you can see this, and then we'll come back and chat just a little bit more. All right, low profile. I do like these. I actually prefer them, but that's just me. You'll find out what it is that you prefer as well. But for students, I think the low profile works nicely. Now, as I've manipulated, you'll notice that I push against, and then I kind of get these set in terms of their lowest profile setting or closest to, and then I'll go ahead and snug them up. All right, that'll apply the pressure here. I just make sure that it's against that fence. Now, a couple of notes. This is already a set height. I don't remember how tall it is. You can take a caliper in order to figure that out. However, with that, I also milled it so that it was the exact same height over here on these stops. I also grouped these stops in order to just give a little bit more edge, especially on wood products, plastics, or something of that nature. The other idea or thinking behind that is if a student is paying attention to this in terms of their depth of cut, whatever it might be, it'll also mimic over here so that if they are working around and making an accidental profile cut that's a little bit wide, it won't necessarily cut into it. You'll notice here that on this particular example, that's what we had done. This was actually on the bottom side, and then it was fairly tight along the top. So you may cut your stock just a little bit over to have students work, if you will, inside a perimeter that does not come through and attack, if you will, your clamps. Otherwise, you'll see quite a few markings. Nevertheless, there it is set up. I can do whatever that milling might be. I can come over here and touch off a corner. I can do my edges, anything of that nature. So we're going to go through and work on work coordinate offsets at another time with our probe. But I just wanted you to see the initial setup so that we could go through and get this put together. The next part is let's go ahead and put the clamp on. So I have the clamp tightened down loose. I won't say tight, but it is got a little friction, if you will, right here on this corner so that I can pivot. Right now it's against my stop, which is exactly what I want. And I'm going to make a guess that this is fairly close to where I need to be. I'm going to use this as my stationary side versus my moving side of the vise. And when I do this, I want to make sure that this is what is perpendicular or square, if you will, to my spindle head. So we're going to do the same process using the probe and setting this up. All right, so now I've got that set. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down. I'll do one last double check on it. Otherwise, now my vise is set. I can work on things. If I need to do something over here, I got a little bit of space. Not a big deal though, but this will help you organize, if you will, your workable space for students, especially in terms of having them mindful about what's going on. Because a lot of times you don't always want to work in the center, because then that's just a wear pattern on the machine in there. But you can change this up over time so that students get used to using all of the table and implementing what is necessary for the different projects. If you had two smaller clamps, you could have something here for a G54, G55, or a G56. So you could potentially manipulate this table, especially with jeweler's type vices. That would work in here as well. You could potentially have 4 of them. You can also start working on air actuated clamps for the robotic arm. We'll get into that as well. So here's your initial setup. If you want to set the stops, that'll help guide students for where it is safe to be running in these places in your XY coordinates. Hopefully this helps you.